Folgers, it's in your motherfucking cup. Unit, salute. Monday Night Raw 2/24/25. Before we rip this show completely apart, which we are going to do, it is WrestleMania season. If you saw that show last night, you know what I'm about to talk about. If you didn't see that show last night, you saved yourself 2 hours and 41 minutes. Now just sit back, max, relax while BC drops the facts on Raw 2/24/25, a show that does not resemble WrestleMania season, maybe Crown Jewel season, maybe just a damn house show, if that. Cincinnati was quiet, sitting on their thumbs, thinking playing in traffic would be a lot more fun than attending that show last night. Cincinnati, after most of those finishes, completely silent. You could hear crickets or a pin drop in that arena. Oh, we're going to talk about it. We're absolutely going to talk about it, but before we do, we got to give props out. We got to give shout-outs, not just to my Amplified unit that caught that live stream last night. Hour 1, completely live. BC and the unit rocking out a live review, live reaction watch-along. You guys knew my thoughts on this show, Hour 1, in real time. That froze. We had some technical difficulties, and we got booted off the air. Even the platform did not want to watch Raw last night. So Hour 1's already been reviewed, but I'll touch base on it. But the props that I want to give out, not just to my unit, I want to give props out to that main event last night. The women went out there, and they completely rocked it. Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Naomi, and Bianca Belair. Those 4 ladies, this was an IOU to them. This was a little bit of damage control from Hunter Hearst Helmsley from Friday night. Rock said, I'm coming in last minute. Hunter's like, I have to move some stuff around. I have to cancel a match. And of course, Hunter went right for the ladies, and he chopped Naomi and Morgan. A little pre-match attack. Match was nullified. So this was the IOU, right? I'm gonna pay it back to you. I'm gonna give you guys the main event of Raw. I'm gonna give you guys time. I want you guys to rock it out, do all the false finishes. And that's what exactly happened. And the false finishes was way too many, by the way. But you do that type of matchup, you're going to get a lot of suspense in it. Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 25, the greatest match I've ever seen. You go back to those false finishes, man. Wow. Everybody truly hanging on the edge of their seat. When you heard "This is awesome," it was legit justified. Not just every match today after 2 or 3 minutes and the wrestlers stop wrestling and everybody feels like they got to be doing something because the wrestlers have taken a moment to sell. What a concept. So then the audience just starts yelling, "This is awesome," after 2 minutes. No, back then it was literally awesome. So false finishes have a great place. You can't do that many like they did last night unless you're at a pay-per-view or it's something very, very top-notch. I understand tag titles are on the line, but this is a Monday Night Raw match, and you just did about 46 false finishes. I wish I could tell you I was exaggerating. If you guys saw the matchup, there was about 46 false finishes. You have to do bare minimum about 36 less. I'm giving you 10 false finishes, man. They did about 46. You have to do a lot less and make those false finishes more impactful, more meaningful. Do more with less. But because they had about 46, they were trying to rush to the next false finish. It kind of became a little circusy several times because they were trying to do so many false finishes. But because of the false finishes, because all the ladies were rocking on all cylinders, there was basically not only no muff-ups, but there was no hesitation. It seemed like everybody was flowing with one another. It seems like they were literally just, it was all systems go, no hesitation. I always tell you guys on this channel, I've been in that ring. I got friends traveling the world, busting their asses and breaking their backs, doing what they love, this pro wrestling thing. And I'll tell you firsthand, hesitation will injure you and your opponents, the people you are in the ring with. Hesitation will do the most damage. Just go. Believe in yourself, believe in your abilities, and even if you don't, go, because the hesitation will muff everything up. And then it's hard to even get timing back on. So everybody, all four of those ladies, I had to spend a couple minutes in this cold open teaser because I am going to rip this show because the show absolutely sucked in totality. This is not WrestleMania-esque. It's not Mania season. This isn't even creative. Nothing makes sense. It's all weird. It all is stupid. But I have to give props out to those four ladies. They rocked it out. They really did. And it's a shame that they got their matchup cut last Friday. It's an IOU. Here's a wild concept, Hunter. Why not put those type of matches for the titles at the pay-per-views, man? Why are these type of titles always changing hands on a Raw or a SmackDown? Every now and again, I understand. But you're running one, sometimes two pay-per-views a year, PLEs a year, a month. 1 to 2 a month. You have to put these and these big moments at your PLEs to make them seem, even if you don't believe it, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, you got to make them feel, make it seem. Put on an act like these titles actually mean something. And Pyro is not just going off on a Raw because we did get new champions last night, which is asinine. This whole title reign was to switch hands on a Monday Night Raw before an Elimination Chamber PLE. Doesn't make any sense, but nothing Hunter does make sense. But we'll get to that. These four ladies rocked it out of the park. Naomi, all cylinders. I say it all the time. Charlie's got 14 titles to Naomi's 2. Naomi's been there longer. And it's bullshit. And thank goodness for Black History Month in the city of Orlando, her hometown. Because that's really the only reasons she got those titles. And that's bullshit because based on her skill level alone, she should have the 14. At least tied up with Charlie. The blonde bombshell that they wanted to put on every single truck, all the promotional, all the advertisements. And Naomi gets to it. You saw what she did. This is why I always bring that up. And I always use Charlie as the benchmark example because it's BS. And if you try to say it's because Charlie's better on the mic, they're equally in skill level, BC. No, they're not. Naomi's actually better and more athletic. That's how I truly feel. I assessed it. But if you want to say they're equal, that's fine. If you want to say Charlie is better on the mic, bull. She puts people to sleep. She'll start off as a hero, as a face, and in 2 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds, she will lose the crowd with her boring, robotic promo. That's not a critique of Ashley Flair. It absolutely is of Charlie Flair and the booking of her for 10 years, 14 titles. Naomi's doing that type of work still in 2025. She has 2. It's bull, and you know it. Raquel Rodriguez is in there, probably the biggest girl in that match. She hit every single one of her marks, all those false finishes, everywhere she needed to be. She was there every time. No hesitation. She did not miss the mark, not even by a fraction of a second. Raquel, that was her best match easily. Bianca Belair continues to show you why she got this wrestling thing very early on and why she got a lot of those big matchups. Bianca did it because of that type of talent. And maybe they tried to make up the mistakes they made from Naomi back in the early years. Maybe they tried to make that up with Bianca. But lately, the booking from Hunter Hearst Helmsley, nah, Vince was booking her much better than this. But Bianca rocked it out, not surprised. Liv Morgan continues to show you why she is so damn good and continues to get better. And so many people try to convince themselves that Liv Morgan isn't good. They try to say, she's not. She is so damn good already, and she continues to get better. I've been saying this for a year and a half, even when she was on hiatus. I said when she comes back, I don't think she's going to miss. I don't think you're going to see too much ring rust, and you didn't. She just didn't get a lot of good match time. She wasn't put in a lot of good situations. Last night, they gave her some time. They gave her a moment, and she grabbed it, man. Liv Morgan showed you what she can do. It's amazing when I hear Liv Morgan's not good. What are you talking about? Liv Morgan rocks it out, dude. All four ladies completely crushed it. That is an absolute salute to that main event. Again, no would I ever put that title match on Raw. If the titles are changing hands, I would put that at a PLE. Just because Trish Stratus is from Canada does not mean I'm putting Trish and Tiffany versus Nia Jax and Candy LeRae. Candy LeRae is getting a pay-per-view in Canada with Nia. But the tag titles can't get any love. We'll put you on the Monday Night Raw before. With half of the global audience already tuned out, the American audience is down to a 1-2-ish. So they've lost 400,000 viewers since go from cable to Netflix in the States alone. More than half of your global audience they lost. That's where we'll put the tag title. We won't have any headlines from the pay-per-view PLE. No, it's bullshit. And eventually Hunter's going to have to learn to put these type of moments and title changes and matchups on the PLEs and take away the garbage filler. Now, should we go on to the review? No, I'm not even done with the cold open. I'm not. You know why? Because I have another. I want to go over hour one real quick because I already did that live with you guys. It's up now for channel members. Hopefully you guys caught it live if you're not a member. But channel members, that's a perk to you guys. Hour one is live for my channel members. And then I recap it the next day like we are now, and then we go over hour two and whatever is in hour three. But you look at this booking last night, and you tell me this isn't confusing for a lot of the audience. You tell me that you're shocked that fans are not intrigued with what is going on. You're telling me that you're shocked that Cincinnati was silent for most of those finishes last night? You shouldn't be, because look what you're getting. Look what you're getting last night. You're getting a heel pinning a heel. You're getting Ludwig Kaiser pinning Pete Dunne. In the process, Penta loses a match because it was a weird triple threat with nothing on the line, guys. There was nothing on the line. They just put 3 dudes in there. Couple of heels. They're like, yeah, you guys fight each other. And we're adding Penta because Penta had a feud with both of you, so we're just going to put all of you in there. Doesn't make any sense. So Penta loses. Butch literally gets pinned, looking up at the lights, and this is from another heel. So Ludwig pins Butch, and everyone's like, what? But Butch is still he got out-heeled. What do you gain from Ludwig pinning Butch, a heel pinning a heel? And in that same hour, was it leaked into two? I think it was leaking into two. Val pins Dakota Kai. Dakota is pinned by Val, a face pinning a face, and that's a rematch that we've already seen, by the way. So we've already seen Val pin Dakota. So why would you just do the same exact match with the same exact result, with the same exact situation, face versus face? So you just saw a heel pin a heel, then you just saw a face pin a face, and then we got a promo up in section 308 with Jackie Redmond with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, face in a face, setting up a title match for next week. That's true, guys. I'm not making this up. This is really what's happening. After you just saw a heel pin a heel, you just saw a face pin a face, and then you just got a face and a face promo for a face versus face championship match next week. It's never going to work. Pro wrestling is done, or at least WWE, if this is the type of business they're conducting. They'll record record revenue throughout the next year, absolutely, because they're going to continue to liquidate, right? Go to the countries that have not paid you the tens of and hundreds of millions yet. They're liquidating off of the Netflix deal, no doubt. But the fans are being driven away in droves, right? Viewership is telling you that. Merchandise sales is telling you that. Even with the Yeet Man is what they're calling him now. So now you have Big Jim and Yeet Man. We'll get to that. Merchandise down nearly 40%. Ticket sales. Where's all the sellouts that they were talking about last year going into Mania? You're not seeing all of them now, are you? And when they are, they're being inflated. And the actual city is saying, well, hold on. There was about 6,000 of those seats unattended. That's not true. So you're starting to see all the metrics fall to the wayside. And that's why. Jarrett used to say the old wrestling cliche, when you confuse them, you lose them. This is not the type of booking. Hunter Hearst Helmsley would have never gotten over as the cerebral assassin if Vince McMahon booked him this way. I say that all the time. If Vince booked Hunter Hearst Helmsley like this, Triple H would have never gotten over the way that he did. You have to have a really good face and a really good, sometimes better heel to work with. That's how Triple H got his claim to fame before rubbing shoulders and getting in close with all the McMahons. But he was doing business because he was a good heel, a great heel, and he had the faces to work with. I don't know why he's going just wrestler A versus wrestler B, put on a wrestling match, and they'll all yell, "This is awesome." That's not what wrestling is founded upon. It's got to be a face and a heel. If you're worrying about the audience being fickle, that's always going to happen. But we'll tell you who's the one we're cheering and who we're not. But you still have to have the concept of good guy, bad guy, because it keeps the wrestlers knowing what they should be doing. I told you guys I broke that story, or I didn't break it, but I was one of the first to report that on a platform like this when the women were upset. And they are upset with WWE booking right now with Hunter Hearst Helmsley. They don't know what they are, right? Fightful broke the story, I believe. And BC picked on it pretty quickly because it's everything I knew they were. They didn't know if they were a heel or a face. So they're literally asking Sean Ross, they're like, can you just find out if we're faces or heels internally? Because we don't know what's going on. And then we heard they're frustrated with the Mania booking and they just don't know what's going on. It's so confusing. There you go. You're having nonstop face versus face, heel versus heel matchups. So, of course, the talent doesn't know what they should be doing. How should my promo be? Am I just nice and all cuddly because it's another face? Should I be a little bit more dastardly? Is this going to make me come across as a heel when I'm supposed to be a face? Are they going to love her more? Are we supposed to 50-50 book our match so I'm not too dominant? These are questions you ask as a wrestler. If you've ever been in that ring, you would know that. BC has. I'm trying to explain this to the audiences at a mass, but nobody wants to listen. They just want to go, it's going to be fine. It's going to be wrestling matches that we haven't seen before. No. Just because you're getting face versus face, heel versus heel, doesn't mean you haven't seen it before. Dakota and Val, you literally just saw a few weeks ago. Same exact result, same match, same situation. Non-stop face versus face, heel versus heel matchups. I feel like a broken record saying this every single show every week, but it just gets more and more and more. Last night, Braun Breaker was in the ring with Dominic Mysterio, heel versus heel. I guess they're trying to play Braun as a tweener because he panders to the crowd and wants them to bark at him. But he's booked backstage for the last 2 months like a heel. I mean, he's walking up to people like AJ Styles, who's beloved, and all these faces, and he's trying to do his grunts, right, while looking at his title and. Yes, we understand, Braun. You bark and you walk around with a title for 2 months. That's all you do. But that's a heel, right? He's walking up to the faces and he's grunting and he's trying to be a badass. Then he goes into the ring and he faces a heel, Dominic last night. So then he wonders why the majority of the crowd is not barking at him when he's trying to say, hey guys, bark. And then when the match is over, why he is wondering that they're silent, it's because the booking doesn't make sense. Hunter Hearst Helmsley needs to be removed from creative. Keep an office job, keep getting a lot of money, be an on-air talent because he loves the spotlight. But creative booking is not Hunter's strong suit. It worked for a few years in NXT when he had Dusty and William Regal and some masterminds. He doesn't have it right now. It's not the same situation. It's much different. It's a different beast. He can't handle it. He can't juggle it. He actually sucks at it. So bring in people that can do the job and give us creativity. Remove Hunter Hearst Helmsley ASAP. Put in people that know what they're doing. This is garbage. We're just watching wrestlers wrestle for no reason. There's not even fun storylines. There's no cool situations occurring. Logan Paul slaps CM Punk. Whoa, is that what we're supposed to talk about for 3 hours today? Logan Paul starts the show in WrestleMania season. If that doesn't tell you anything, everything you need to know about Hunter's booking. Just because Hunter loves Logan Paul. Logan's starting the show with a weak-ass promo, and you guys know it was. He's trashing Cincinnati. He told CM Punk, everything you do, you fail at. Everything I do, I succeed. What are we, in preschool? Is this a promo you're cutting on the kid that you don't like in preschool and you're about to have a little recess fight? CM Punk had to come out and try to save this segment. His dingers were a little bit more stealth, but it was already off the tracks, man. Hour one was a complete waste. I was live with you guys. It ended up freezing, and it never came back. That's why it was an abrupt kind of end to the stream. My channel members who still have that up, you guys know, or just know that's what happened. I tried to. Do you guys know I was still talking for like 10 minutes. I was live straight through the Gunther Tozawa Otis situation. Apparently, it froze and cut off while Gunther and Tozawa were still talking. I stayed through to the end to where Uso came out eating. And then I found out, I was frozen for 10 minutes. The stream had kind of abruptly ended. So that's what happened, guys. If you're wondering if you were live last night. And for channel members who still can view that, you guys know, just know that's what happened. So I didn't get so flustered that I just ended the stream. I think the platform, YouTube, was like, dude, I can't do this right now. I can't do this anymore, BC. I gotta deuces. Check you. And the stream just cut off. All right, swig of coffee. Let's talk about hour 2 and hour 3. I'll tell you guys exactly what I mean. When I say hour 1 sucked, but you guys know that you were with, hopefully, live with BC when that hour was transpiring. But was hour 2 just as bad, if not worse? What about hour 3? Let's talk about it right now. It's Raw 224-25 with BC. 44 dive. We rolling. Let's do this. No signature. Stay right here, man. I'm just going to get a swig. So like I said, I was live during this top of the second hour. It froze, I guess. So I don't know exactly what you guys saw. I believe I froze right where Gunther and Tozawa were having their little back and forth. So Gunther chokes out Tozawa. Post-match, he chokes out Otis. So a way to just feed Alpha Academy, right? That's going to be the next, what is it, 53, 54 days, something like that? I don't know. I don't even have a calendar in front of me right now, but I'm not going to start pressing buttons. I think it's 53 or 54 days, right? Something like that. 50 some odd before Mania. And it's clear that the Jey Uso Gunther build, the storyline, it's non-existent. There is no storyline. I told you guys this. So they're probably going to do a bunch of stuff with Alpha Academy for the next month. And Gunther. But nothing else to see. He just literally just choked them all out. The Yeet Man, as Michael Cole called him. Michael Cold. Yeah, his commentary has gone cold. So the Yeet Man, he's calling him, comes down, right? He chases up. Gunther just runs away. And Michael Cole goes, the Yeet Man is in the house. And Gunther retreats from the Yeet Man. And everybody starts yeeting. That's it. If you missed the shit, that's he ran away. And that's it. That's what's in my notes. And that's what I remember. And then we just yeeted for a minute. At least we didn't yeet for 20 minutes. Right? I don't even know if Michael Cole or Pat McAfee yeeted all in the front row like he usually does. I don't know if Michael Cole pulled his hamstring from yeeting so much. But it wasn't 20 some odd minutes, so we didn't get all the juvenile jokes from McAfee and Cole. Now here's where BC is going to ask, where's that creative that was supposed to be there? Do you guys remember what was said 2 weeks ago? Honestly, do you guys remember what Gunther said 2 weeks ago to try to get us excited for a match that we just saw at Saturday night's main event? Saw Jey Uso flat on his back looking up at the lights, middle of the ring, and now we have to see the same match on the grandest stage of them all. Do you remember what the big storyline was supposed to be? 2 weeks ago, Gunther stood in that ring, looked at the hard cam, and said, Jey Uso, the next 10 weeks will be 10 weeks of hell for Jey Uso. 10 weeks of hell. Remember, that was the whole thing. And everybody goes, oh, man. Every time Jey Uso shows up, man, Gunther's going to lay it to him. It's going to be this big deck stacked against him, right? Tenfold. Since then, guys, last week, Gunther got his ass whooped by Jey Uso and retreated. This week, he literally runs away. So the booking, the 10 weeks of hell for Jey Uso that Gunther promised, 2 weeks in a row now, Gunther has either gotten his ass whooped and or ran away. Literally running for the hills. Wow. Hell's not so bad for Jason Uso. He's probably wondering where the ice cold water is. And then people, there's honestly people that wonder, why is BC ripping the product? Isn't it so good? I felt Hunter was cooking last night, man. A lot of good wrestling action. You saw the main event? That's why. We're just asking for logic and common sense, man. We're not asking for much, actually. My bar is higher than the average fan, yes, because I have been watching for a while. I know what's good, and I literally know what's bad. Not preference, not what we like and don't like. I always try to decipher between the two. There's people that like Jey Uso going for the title at Mania and winning it. That's good. That's a preference. I liked Jinder Mahal winning the world title. I knew that wasn't good business, but I liked it because I'm a supporter. I'm a fan of Jinder Mahal, but I knew it wasn't good per se. It's always good to know the difference. Preference and facts. Facts, Jey Uso winning that title when you have all of these other things that need to be happening right now with Cena, with Punk, everything going on. And Jason Uso is going to hoist it up so we can try to sell a few more t-shirts and have 70,000 people yeet, as if that's not already annoying. And then you're still going to get Jey Uso in what you guys are calling the 3 moves of doom. That's a little mean, but it's not far from the truth. Singles Jey Uso is just not as captivating as tag team Jey Uso. He's not. And I know firsthand, the Usos are legit my top tag team in the industry. So I can say that. But 10 weeks of Jey, where's the story, man? Where's the story? There's nothing. He's just running away and getting beat up. Gunther, your world champion. And most likely, in 50 some odd days, the dude's going to drop the title. So that's how you book Gunther? Hunter's been lost with Gunther completely. The title has just been an anchor and has been weighing him down. Gunther is like an afterthought. You don't even think of the dude. He's so average, and he's a world champion, and he just feels like there's nothing special. And he's running away from Jason Uso. Do you guys comprehend that? And he's most likely losing the title so everybody can yeet. And this can be Hunter's yes movement, his Kofi Mania. This is Hunter's moment. Look what I did, the yeet movement. Yes, you did, man. Yes, you did. And it says a lot. Gunther, 10 weeks of hell continues for Jey Uso as Gunther runs away from Jey Uso. Backstage, they're really trying to play up this everybody's doubting Jey Uso, right? They're setting up the title victory for Mania. So he comes across Waller in theory, and they're like, dude, you're never going to win. You know that, right? The fans are right. Gunther's right. You're not going to win the title. Why are you even trying? Blah, blah, blah. So Jey Uso's like, man, everybody is still doubting me, man. ESPN, La Familia's, they're all doubting me. The fans are doubting me, man. Gunther, you guys. My brother's wifey, man. I got Naomi saying, dude, you'll never do it. Tiffany just walked by, sipping her coffee. She's like, dude, you ain't winning. Everybody's doubting me. I'm going to win, though, man. It's so lame. Nobody's doubting you. Everybody knows you're going to win the title. Literally nobody's doubting the fact that Hunter and his little creative pen, or lack thereof, it's clearly his creative pen has been out of creative ink for the longest time. Everybody knows, but nobody's doubting that you're going to win the title. Stop. If the question is, should you be beating Gunther at WrestleMania? No, Jason Uso. I don't care if he yeets or not. I don't care how many t-shirts are being. Jason Uso should not be beating Gunther, bro, at WrestleMania. We know that. Stop. But there's fans that just want to see it. So like I like Jinder Mahal, there's a side that's not going to go to bat too hard on that concept. They're just going to, I'm okay with whichever. It's going to be a cool moment when he wins it and we all start yeeting BC. But I'm just, in all seriousness, guys, this is what I mean about lack of storytelling. They either don't care, they don't even remember, or they just are so bad at it, or a mixture of all three. But they set up the story of 10 weeks of hell for Jey Uso, and he just runs away and gets his ass kicked. Gunther does every single week. What are you talking about? Where was that story progression? Where was the consistency? Where's the continuity? Nothing. I remember a month or 2 months ago, whatever it was, they set up this really good promo with CM Punk and Cody. Even though it's face versus face, they set it up really good. Not another damn peep from it ever since. The Rock is muddying the waters with some bizarre promos and sticking his nose. Most likely he's not even going to have a Mania match. You guys understand that, right? The Rock even said, the cool thing with me and Cody is we never even have to have a match. We can just keep this going to the end of time. Yeah, that's fun. That's a great time. Come in, muddy the waters whenever you have free time from your filming. Never, ever went back to it. Anyway, that's the top of hour 2. The 10 weeks of hell continues for Jey Uso as he completely continues to own Gunther. That's hell. Hunter's WWE. We try to make sense of it until you just can't anymore. You can't even try because there's none. Then we go to Lyra Valkyria defeating Dakota Kai via Nightwing pinfall. We got to talk about this. What are you doing? Rematch. Face versus face. And it was the same exact... I'm not saying Dakota should have won the title, but what are we... I mean, guys, this was middle of the ring, just a straight pinfall. Lyra defeats Dakota. And Michael Cole in this match right before the finish. You guys can check it out. It's on Netflix. You can rewind it and do all the stuff. Michael Cole literally says, this match has been so 50-50 all the way through. This match has been so 50-50. That's the problem, Michael. We all know in pro wrestling, 50-50 is the worst you can possibly have. 50-50 booking can actually ruin pro wrestlers. It's definitely a detriment. Nobody wins with 50-50. That means you are average. And if you're in a 50-50 match, it is average. Can't do it. You can't do it. And unless you have all the magic, unless you have the correct false finishes perfectly situated, and you get the most out of them, everyone's rolling on all cylinders. Unless you get that, I'll say it again. I brought this up earlier. My favorite wrestling match on the planet. It's the best wrestling match ever. Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 25. If they're 50-50 the whole way through and the magic is occur, of course. But that's not happening. Nobody's going back and watching Lyra and Dakota Part 2, face versus face, same situation. Dakota looking up at the lights. Nobody's going back and watching that because you 50-50 booked it. There's no headline from it. No, but it's literally not even on any of the headlines for WWE this morning. That's why. Michael Cole literally says, this has been 50-50. And then Lyra just pins her. So where's the fun? What is happening? BC, what do you want? Lyra to just dominate Dakota? First of all, I don't want the match, period. I want a heel versus a face. That's it. And yes, back in the day, the heel would get the best out of that face for a long time, but the face would find a way to overcome. Or you get creative with the booking, the match itself. Post-match, Ivy Nile attacks Kai and Val. What the Ivy, the one who just lost. Remember, I did that whole rant because I could not fathom how Hunter could possibly book like this. I shouldn't have been surprised. But instead of going Ivy over Dakota to set up the heel versus Val, because a good face needs a good heel to work with. So I thought, two birds with one stone. Ivy needs something. She hasn't really had a definitive storyline yet. Mania's around the corner. Ivy pins Dakota's the situation you gave us. Val needs a good heel anyway. Ivy can be that little pit bull. I said, hey, Hunter booked some trash, Dakota versus Ivy out of nowhere for an IC title shot. But hey, let's roll with it. Let's get Ivy to that position. Maybe we can get a storyline out of this. He has Dakota pin Ivy to set up a face versus face match for this week, which led to nothing. Lyra just pins Dakota flat. Same exact finish we saw a few weeks ago. And then it's like damage control, right? It's almost like he's because they're listening to BC. You guys know that. I mean, there's people in that locker room who I am pretty close with, and I thank them. I'll just leave it at that. I thank them big time for everything that they do for BC and the channel. So I know they're watching, but I know that it's leaking to the honchos. And it's like, if you're listening and you're obviously you're getting what BC is saying, why not do the right thing in the first place? Why try to do damage control? No pun intended to the group, by the way. Are they even still a thing, damage control? Why try to correct a massive wrong and a massive botch? Relax and think about what you're doing in the first place, And you wouldn't have to do the whiteout. You wouldn't have to have the eraser. You wouldn't have to try to make up for the wrong and the mistake. Like, Ivy is now coming out of nowhere to attack both. What if you just what if you just had an Ivy win this and then set up a really good storyline? Dakota wouldn't have had to lose like she did again last night. Get a storyline with Dakota. Okay, she failed that IC opportunity against Ivy. She's going to work her way up, though, and then you ignite a really good story with Dakota and somebody else. But you have Ivy start her journey to that championship with a badass story. You make her a pit bull heel. But she loses, so Ivy just loses, and she loses a lot of stock last week. And then Dakota loses anyway this week. So then Ivy, playing the sore loser role, comes in and beats everyone up. And then afterwards, backstage, she cuts an interview and she says, I'm getting my IC title match. Well, it doesn't make sense anymore. There's a lot of ladies in that locker room. You lost your chance last week. So just attacking Val doesn't matter. You still have to go way back. Maybe next year you can get your shot. If we were telling these stories logically. Because if you're doing the I attacked you, now it's a storyline, I'm totally fine with that. Then you can't do the number one contender match last week. I hope this makes sense, guys. I know we're not used to that anymore, right? Talking pro wrestling, especially WWE. So when you hear somebody like BC, it's like, whoa, man, you're spitting a lot at us, BC. I'm trying to comprehend. It's because they've dumbed you down to such abysmal levels. It's just abysmal at this point. They've wanted your bar set so low that when we start talking common sense and logic, right? Wild concepts, BC. And BC ends up becoming like the mad scientist when I'm actually just spewing the bare minimum, bare basics of logic and common sense. And that's why the ladies, but my whole point in all this is that's why the ladies are frustrated with Hunter Helmsley and WWE right now. They don't know what they are, faces or heels. They don't like their Mania booking or lack thereof. They don't like their creative. It's because of these type of situations. Hunter is making everybody look like idiots. It's like he wants to make them all look like a bunch of clowns, a bunch of goofs, a bunch of goons, a bunch of stunads. So Ivy is attacking. So, I mean, you know, they heard BC last week and they're like, wait, BC was right, actually. We probably should have went with Ivy, have a heel, give her something. Finally a good story. And we give Val a viable heel. Yeah, we should go with what BC said. Thanks. Is it too late? I hope not. But what I can urge this company to do is to just book correctly in the first place so you don't have to use the whiteout. Because it's too late. Sometimes that it's already said. Now you have to try to get Ivy back to that position. Try to make everybody forgot that she just lost like she did to Dakota last week. I'll move on. But I have to spend time on these situations because there's a grander picture and a bigger problem that it leads to for the talents, let alone the fans' interest. We'll move on to Sami Zayn. Oh boy. Yapamania for 5 minutes. So Sami Zayn is backstage, or doing like a sit-down interview, something like that. And Sami Zayn yaps for 5 minutes about the intense feud that he has with KO. And guys, it probably was good. He really was trying to make it like super sentimental and like, you know, there's just so much history with him and Owens, and like, I can't. He tried. But if you've watched all of their feuds, all of their matches, guys, for the last 10 years from NXT, we've seen it. We've seen this whole thing. We've seen gimmick matchups. We've seen the most intense of feuds, the most sympathetic of moments. That here in 2025, to replay the same old played out Sami Zayn KO storyline. If you're cool with it, that's awesome for you. Don't be shocked that a lot of us can't even buy into it. Guys, he was trying to give a really good promo backstage sit-down interview. And I was just hearing, yap. Remember, you ever see, what is it? Is it Charlie Brown? The Snoopy cartoon back in the day? Wah, 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 wah. That's all I was hearing. Wah, wah, wah. And it's sad to say that that's how much little to zero interest I have in this matchup. Because they're in Canada, we're going to get Sami and KO again. They're probably going to extend it to WrestleMania. Again, so many of us that have seen this too many times, we're not excited, man. It's just not... we wish it was there. We wish you could tell you we really can't wait to see Jason Uso versus Gunther in a rematch of a rematch of a rematch. We wish we could tell you we can't wait to see Charlie Flair get her 14th championship or 15th, whatever it is. Charlie Flair in one of the big matchups at Mania taking a title. We wish we could tell you that, but we can't. I wish I could tell you. It'd be nice if I could tell you that I'm looking forward to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens for the 95th time. I can't get there, man. And I can't lie. I always say I'm not going to bullshit my audience. I can't bullshit myself. If I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling it. And that's because it's 2025. And we're just getting Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens matches. All right, dude. And then Bron Breakker. This is just hilariously sad. So Braun Breaker defeats Dominic Mysterio via DQ when Carlito and Balor interfere. This is a heel versus heel matchup, guys. Breaker was working as a face more, pandering to the crowd, trying to pump him up, trying to get him to bark. But so much of the crowd didn't understand it because he was just walking up to like AJ Styles' face and so many other faces over the last 2 months. So everyone's like, what? He's basically walking up to anybody and everybody, so nobody knows what he truly is, but they just know him more as a heel. Remember what he did to Jey Uso, like shaking his hand one week, and then the next week he's attacking him. This whole booking for Bron Breakker is just to break him down, humble him down, and make him look like an idiot. I don't understand why anybody would be this cruel to Bron Breakker's booking. You're handicapping the dude to where he doesn't know what he is. And this is, again, the reports that we're already hearing from talents, why they're pissed off. They don't know if they're a heel or a face. The report last week was the women were pissed. I think it's way more. I think it's absolutely a lot of the dudes don't know what they're doing because they don't know what they are because Hunter doesn't know what he's doing. So Bron Breakker's out there as a heel because that's what we truly know him as, and he's pandering to the crowd, and he's wondering why 160 people are going, yeah, and everybody else is sitting on their thumbs. They don't know what to do. They're watching a heel. They're watching Bron Breakker versus Dominic Mysterio. To them, to BC, it's a heel versus a heel. Pandering to the crowd, but the crowd justifiably was confused. You confuse them, you'll lose them. Breakker clears all of Judgment Day and the crowd was silent. If you guys needed any more proof that this Bron Breakker tweener experience is failing miserably, after he cleared the heels, took out Balor, Carlito, Dominic, one dude, the crowd went mild. They didn't do anything. Nothing. Not a peep. BC, you were right again, man. I know. It's not a pat on the back. I don't want to be right in these situations. I don't want to be. I want them just to correct it. Correct it, man. Why are we getting this? If he's a heel, go full throttle. If he's a face, just start booking him that way. But, whoa, this is bad. And this is your IC title holder getting no response. Having to pander for barks. Hilarious segment with Cody Rhodes and Rollins next. That's right. Cody showed up to Raw just so Rollins could tell him he's going to win the chamber. That's it. Guys, that is it. Rollins went on for 5 minutes about, tell me you're not really going to sell your soul to the Dwayneville. Like the devil. Dwayne is playing the role of the devil, so sell your soul to... And Rollins just plays the middleman in everything. He was in the WrestleMania thing last year when everyone's like, where does Seth even fit into this? What does he do? Because they didn't have anything for him. He always, right, he tries to talk to Sami Zayn when Sami was in his thing with the Drew. Seth always needs to be in the middle. Sami does the same type of booking. When they have nothing, they just go out there and they just start getting into everybody else's biz. That's how Hunter books them. So Rollins is out there so concerned that he's going to sell his soul to Dwayne. And then it ends up with Rollins just saying, I'm going to win the title. And I don't want the puppet from Rock to face. I want the Cody Rhodes that I faced 86 other times. And he leaves the ring, and Cody is just as confused with Rollins saying, please don't sell your soul to Dwayne. I'm going to win the chamber. He's just as confused as Rock telling him he wants his soul. He wants him to sell his soul. And Cody is like he just saw a ghost, like it was Casper or Slimer. He saw Seth Rollins, and Rollins said, I'm going to win the Guys, I'm trying to fluff this up. I don't know what else to say. That's why they brought Cody to Raw. So Seth could say, I'm going to win the chamber, dude. And Cody's like, what? I didn't even think of this, man. I was thinking Cena, Punk, Logan could pull. Rollins is going to win, he just told me. If it sounds silly, it was beyond if you actually had to watch this. That's what they brought Cody in for, because Cody's got nothing for Mania. We got to wait till Saturday just to find out who the heck's facing him, and then we have 1 month to try to build this properly. Okay. At this point, the chamber has become a detriment to WrestleMania because Hunter can't juggle the two. He can't juggle Rumble, Chamber, Mania. So we don't know what Mania. There's nothing. Hunter doesn't even know. Just like he did with Rumble, he called the last 4 into his office hours before. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, basically. He chose Jey Uso. Everybody found out last second, including Hunter. He's probably going to do the same thing. He probably doesn't even know who he's going with at Chamber. Probably doesn't even know. Call them all in, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, all 6 individuals. It landed on Rollins. We're going to get Rollins and Cody for the 86th time. But that's why they brought Cody in. That's a true... I couldn't believe... And then the tag title main event. This was, again, an IOU for Hunter completely just cutting that match because Rock was back on Friday. Liv and Raquel versus Naomi and... Bianca for the tag titles. Again, I already said what I had to say about this match in the cold open. That could not wait until the review. I had to spit that out in the cold open. This match was really good. For the women tag team match of the year, I don't know if that's going to be topped. They gave them time. They were just rocking on all cylinders. That doesn't always happen. No hesitation. Everybody was hitting their spots, hitting their marks, right where they needed to be, when they needed to be. I mean, it was just, when you're a critic like BC, when you literally dissect pro wrestling and I don't mean this in an egotistical way, but as good as I do it, when it comes to actually critiquing pro wrestling, dissecting it, good, bad, with facts, all ducks in a row, research, all of it, BC's top of the line. I mean, you guys know that. So when it comes to that, for me to say, damn, that tag match, I don't think that's going to be beat with the tag team for the females. I don't think that's going to be beat. It's because everything happened correctly. Everything was just working, lightning in a bottle. And that's why it was so good. I would have taken away some of the false finishes, for sure. It was too many. Do more with less. You know, separate, have some time in between the false finishes, sell a little bit more. I think they knew they were just rocking, so they felt like they even had to do more and go even quicker. Settle it just a little bit. Hunter would have given you the time, I believe. Netflix will give. I mean, if you guys saw, this was the first time in weeks it actually went over 2.5 hours. And that's because Netflix has that wiggle room. So I think they could have easily done it. I think they were just feeling themselves as they should have been. A lot more false finishes. I would have taken some out. It becomes a little too circusy if it's too many false finishes like that. I mean, some of these moves would have knocked them out on the regular. Like if you saw Bianca take that, Raquel had her up, Liv jumps off the top rope and delivers an Oblivion. That should have taken Bianca out for like the count of 65. Like she would have been out for 65 seconds, but she kicked out. And then all of a sudden, like 2 seconds later, another false finish. 10 seconds later, 30 seconds later. That's my big critique. Take out some of the false finishes. You still would have had an amazing matchup. Good reaction. And that Cincinnati crowd didn't have much to cheer for last night. So those ladies really brought it out of them. but on a show that lacked in every area, consistently lacked and failed in every area during WrestleMania season, supposedly, that match tried to save it. And it was easily the highlight of the night. So those ladies rocked it. New tag team champions Liv and Raquel defeat Naomi and Belair. Naomi was about to... I think it was Liv. Liv was about to receive a split-legged moonsault. But Raquel, this is what I mean. She was right where she needed to be at the right time. Grabbed the leg of Naomi so she couldn't finish off that split-legged moonsault. So Naomi's pretty much sitting on the top rope with her leg being held. And this allowed Raquel to slam her dome piece first into the top of the post. And then Liv was right there to take the pin. And Liv was just perfectly right there. I mean, that's what I mean. Everything was just so... It's lightning in a bottle, man. You know, sometimes you get in that ring and it's just magic. You can't pre-plan it. You could pre-plan and rehearse everything you're going to do. You can't pre-plan the magic that's going to occur. I say that about Cody and Roman at, 39, when Cody should have won that championship. It's lightning in a bottle. The atmosphere, the way the match was going, Cody had to win that title. And they chose to keep it on Roman. And instead, Cody laid down next to a rubber chicken. And for the next year, Cody had a very lackluster title reign, a weird summer with Brock, a feud that never really had a purpose. Michael Cole asked 12 times why Brock's even attacking him. The story was supposed to be Cody wins the title. The next night on Raw, Brock attacks him because, remember, Brock couldn't wrestle Roman anymore. That was the stipulation in their last match. So Brock was waiting for the next champion. But Hunter changed his mind, kept it on Roman, and still had Brock attack Cody on Monday. They never found out why. We never did. And then Roman just went on vacation most of the next year. So we had to wait a whole year just to get the same outcome we should have got at 39 when the magic was more palpable. Just a little history. I mean, that's what you have to know. You have to read the room and adjust accordingly or make the right decision. But this was one of those lightning in a bottle situations. You can't really pre-plan for it. Everything was so well done, and new champions were crowned. Pyro was going off. Again, one more critique on the creative side. Why not put matches like these at PLEs, man? Give the ladies the real spotlight. The titles, the real spotlight. Like, make the titles prestigious, man. Like, there's no reason Candy LeRae and Nia Jax should be getting a PLE pay-per-view matchup Saturday night. Just because Trish is from Canada. What about those titles, man? That match was put on last night on a Raw. The titles once again changed hands on a Raw. When the pay-per-view was 6 days away, dude. 5. Monday night, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. For 5 nights away from last night. It was that close, and you couldn't have just... That's what makes pay-per-views. That's what makes premium live events special. That's what grabs headlines. But the ladies rocked it out on an otherwise absolute, yet again, another shit show. Mania season, and Hunter remains absolutely clueless. It's almost like the botch from Friday night when he just cut the time because Rock was coming back and he cut the ladies match. It actually worked as a benefit, right? Because we got what we got last night. So at this point, I guess all we can hope for is that Hunter turns some of his failed, botched booking. Somehow we accidentally capture lightning in a bottle, right? Some magic. I guess that's what we're hoping for. It's like hitting the lottery. Good luck doing it. That's what I got for you guys, man. BC and the Amplified Unit, 224.25's Raw. This company still continues to be a mess as we head into Chamber Saturday and as we head into WrestleMania next month. Until next time, there will be that next time. 44 Dive, that's a wrap. BC and the Unit saying check you. Salute.